So let's see. We talk about Adam and Eve and the serpent. Eve said she's a bone in my bones. I say AM and PM. That is a covenant. I put it like the Adam and PM, Eve, AM, Adam. We know it's the perfect covenant. Everything God said everything was good and was perfect in His eyes. And I just know everything has an opposite. Everything has a divine, perfect opposite. Black, white, right, left, up, down. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like light, dark, positive, negative. Everything is in perfect harmony. Everything about life is in perfect harmony. It starts with Adam and Eve. It starts with Adam and Eve. It was in perfect harmony until the serpent opened their eyes. And then before the serpent came into them, they didn't even know they were naked. They were literally vulnerable to each other. They was in perfect harmony and peace. But you married to really be covenanting. Stay tight. Stay glued to your husband, to your wife. Because as soon as your wife veers off, the devil will attack. And this is exactly what happened. The wife, I guess she walking around the garden, and she had a conversation with the devil. And he convinced her that that apple, I think it was an apple that she ate. She convinced her that apple was as fruitful as the fig, and it's not. As soon as she bit into it, she gave it to Adam. He bit into it, and then they saw each other naked. The first thing Adam said is, "It's because of the woman you gave me." First thing Eve said is, "The snake beguiled me." No accountability. And God came down to really talk to him, try to understand, like, how do you know you were naked? Didn't I tell you not to eat off the tree? And Adam said, we ran because we were afraid, because I am naked. And they covered themselves. And this is crazy because this is continuously flowed through life, generations up until now. Thousands of years later, we in the same predicament. We blame each other, we don't hold no accountability. And I'm saying that, I'm speaking to myself. You feel me? I'm speaking to myself when I say that. So we're gonna keep continuing forward. We go to Cain and Abel, jealousy, greed, pride, and all those things come into play. Cain and Abel. So Cain was a tiller of the ground, and Abel bought it. Abel was basically a shepherd. And it was a time where Cain and Abel wanted to make a sacrifice and give it to God. And some flowers to him from his garden, I'm assuming. And Abel bought the first fatness of one of his, I guess, maybe could have been a lamb, it could have been anything. And God accepted his sacrifice, but he didn't accept Cain's sacrifice. And Cain became very wrath, became very jealous. It says zealous in the Bible, but he became very wrath. So moving forward, Cain, he talked to Abel, he slew him, he killed him. And God asked him, like, God literally was like, man, like, what's going on? I hear your brother calling for me with his blood on the ground. And Cain told God straight up, I'm not his father. I don't tend to him. I don't know where he at. Like, he literally came to God, like, straight up talked to God like they're equal. And I'm not disrespecting Cain. I'm not disrespecting you or anything. I'm just saying what's weird because I don't want to disrespect the spiritual. I'm blessed that Cain and Abel are the first of man to be multiplied, so I will never disrespect them. So Cain told him that my punishment is greater than anything. So he fled off and he started doing his own thing. He had a child, he had Enoch. And he called the city Enoch. So going on through Genesis, man, I really reading the genealogies. Everything is divided by numbers, perfect numbers, perfect numbers. Whether it's a 3, whether it's a 4, whether it's a 7, you know, everything is perfect. The age where a lot of these men died, your death and your birth is literally purposeful. It's a divine purpose and it's a divine number. And it's just 27, 7, 4, 9, 17, all those numbers that's 14, all those numbers that multiply double. It's just beautiful, man. So I'm just say a few things right now. So Adam was 130 years old and begot a son in the likeness of his own image. That was Seth. Adam was 800 years old. He lived 800 years after Seth and begot sons and daughters. And he lived to be 930. Seth was 912. Enos was 905. Canaan was 910. Lemuel was 895. Jared was 962. Enoch lived 65 years after he begot Salem. Enoch walked with God until he didn't anymore. Enoch lived 300 years after that and lived to be 365 years old. I truly believe that Enoch is the reason that we have 365 days in a year. I truly believe that, and that will never change for me. Okay, so like I said, divine numbers, divine. The next generation is always divine number. Every fourth generation in Genesis, it was somebody born to be destined to do something to change the generation. And I truly believe that every 4 years we have an opportunity in our families to reshape our generational curses and reshape our families' lives. And taking sin of our families and giving God and allowing God to really reshape us and mold us and keep us together. For a family that prays together, stays together, y'all, for sure. So Lamech lived to be 182 years, and he begot Noah. Lamech lived 500 years after, and he lived to be 777 years old. Noah was 500 years old and begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay? Now Noah was a just man. He was a just man. He walked with God also. So he was the second man in the Bible that walked with God. Okay, now it goes through Noah's generation. So every 3-4 chapters, you see multiple generations, and then you see all their generations. And you see all their generations and things that they committed and things that they did. So Noah lived 150 years after the flood, and he lived to be 950. Okay. What's really interesting to me, the world was of one language, of one speech at one point. Action upon ourselves to build a tower up to heaven. And they almost made it there. They said, Genesis 11:4, and the Lord came down and saw. So God said, go, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. And he named that city Babel. The birth of the world, we got Adam and Eve, the birth of Adam, okay? And now we have Noah. And of course, Noah reshaped the world. The flood came, and now he's starting over. So She-Ra lived 30 years and begot Nahor. She-Ra died at 230 years, and Nahor was 29 years. Remember what I said about the numbers? And begot Terah. So that tells you that something's coming. Noah lived 119 years after and died at 150 years. Terah lived to be 70 years and begot Abram. This is Abraham. This is Abraham. Now this is where it gets incredibly interesting. And I really want to, do a little slight video, post it. Study every book I get into. I'ma post it, and as years goes on, I'ma keep being more detailed. People gravitate to me. I really want to minister. I don't know if I want to be a pastor or actually preaching, but I really want to speak what I'm reading because it's a reason why. Fun fact real quick, I'm a grandson of a pastor. Actually, I'm a grandson of two pastors, my mother and my father, and they had their own church. My dad's dad, his church is actually 45 minutes from me. One day, by the grace of God, they build a relationship together and we can actually go and visit that church, and that would be incredible. But I was raised and mentored by so many pastors and preachers. God genuinely gave me pastors and preachers to teach me. Yeah. Abraham. Now, Abraham was that guy. So we're going to start with Abraham. Okay. All right. So we all know who Abraham is, right? If you don't know, now you know. Okay? Abraham, one of the most important people in this word, in this Bible. God made a promise. God made us a promise that he will give us seed. Give us a seed, he will multiply it. He will keep us forever. He will keep us forever. That thy seed shall be stronger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. They shall serve, and I will judge. Afterwards, they shall come out with great substance. The slave masters, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the slave masters. The slave masters, he said he will judge. Okay? But he says afterwards shall they come out with great substance, meaning the ones who were enslaved. So he had a vision to Abraham. He told Abraham that, fear not, Abraham, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Y'all, fun fact real quick about Abraham. So Abraham Lincoln, right? He was enslaved for 400 years, right? It's funny how the man who got us out of slavery, his name was Abraham, right? I'm gonna continue, but that's just a little something that I'm still digesting. Because saying it out loud just pour something in my spirit. And I just thank God, I thank God. So in that same day, we're going to read 15 to 18, it says, in that same day the Lord came to make a covenant with Abram, saying unto thy seed have I give this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river of the Euphrates River. The Kenizzites, the Kimbrites, the Hinonites, the Perizzites, the Ramees, the Amorites, Canaanites, the Jebusites, and the Jebusites. I'm gonna ask y'all to do y'all homework on that and see where that at. Okay. So mind you, Abraham was 99 when he was circumcised. So the Lord says that we have to be circumcised in order to receive the Holy Spirit, in order to receive this gift. For those who are not circumcised, are barren. Are barren. You gotta figure it out on your dolo. You gotta figure it out on your dolo. Every child among you shall be circumcised. If so, my covenant will be in your flesh. Okay? And he says in Genesis 17, read Genesis 17, 10 through 16. He says, an uncircumcised child whose flesh is foreskin is cut off from his people. He broke the covenant, and he broke the covenant. Okay, that's just incredibly important. Abraham was actually 99 when he broke that, when he became circumcised, and he circumcised his whole entire family. Okay, so as the genealogy goes, so it goes from Abraham to Sodom and Gomorrah, where God had to really strip that city because of the sins that they committed. They got comfortable with sin, and God just had enough. Then it goes Rebekah and Isaac. Then it goes Esau and Jacob in the fight. Okay, then it continues to go. Goes to Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. Okay, then the genealogies continue. And let me tell you about Joseph, man.